Oh, that's a tight ass.
Oh, Daddy.
Ooh, Daddy Josh. Ooh.
I'm back!
Ooh.
Hey! Holy shit. Our show doesn't look like a basement show anymore. It looks like...
You know what?
Hey, what do you say about basement shows?
We're all in a basement right now. We're all in basements.
I know.
We're all on the lowest level of our domiciles.
Yep.
Hey, it's true.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
We are Murder Moose, part of the Slashing Cast podcast network.
Oh yeah. Oh, those buttons never work. It's in the game though.
Rod, I was going to ask you last week. Did we even say that we were with? That we were Murder
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I
thought about it the next day. I was like, wait a second. I don't remember saying that at all. Like, we just dove straight in. So,
I mean, we dove straight into our ADHD. That is for sure.
Oh my god. Okay, well that works.
Why do you have game show children, Josh?
Because I'm back.
Bob Barker died over the weekend.
Yeah, what's that
don't
about?
Say it.
He was 99. And then people in my chat were making jokes about how he
The
didn't
over under. Yeah. The over under. Fuck.
Wait.
Make it.
What's the over under?
He didn't make it to $1.
You know how? Yeah.
Oh.
And then I guess people were. I don't spend much time on Twitter anymore, but people were making the Price is Wrong, bitch, jokes. And it's just like, oh man, a lot of people died over the fucking weekend, man. Terry Funk died, the wrestler, and then Barry Wyatt, who was only like 36, died. It was very sad. He like got COVID in like March, and then like it messed up his heart, and he had a heart attack on Thursday. He died on my birthday, so that was fun.
Oh.
Oof.
Yay.
Oof.
That was sarcasm, folks. Josh, is your head stopped hurting now?
Yeah. I don't like migraines. I've never had it in my life. And I was like, I literally like opened one eye and was like, can't. That's it. I hope you're okay. I don't know. I didn't see that until like 3 days later. So yeah, I'm doing good now. Chiropractors and doctors. I feel so old. I got injured doing this.
He's like me. He got injured existing. As I was sitting there at my desk this morning, looking at my computer, and leaned funny, and then my ribs hurt, and not like my front ribs, my like back ribs.
I just broke my toe walking in my kitchen to come down here to do this. I'm like, fuck.
I was laying on the couch trying to stay awake because I'm so fucking tired all the time. And I sat up and I was like, oh, my back hurts. What the fuck? Don't tell me I can't sleep on the couch anymore. What the hell is this shit?
Oh, no. Time for a new couch.
No, I like this couch.
I kept passing out on random objects last week because I was at an Airbnb for like my birthday, and I would like lie on random objects and just pass out. And then
that sounds like a good birthday then.
Yeah. At one point I took Zelda for a hike, found a brewery on the way back, and I was like, I'm going to get a beer at the brewery. And they walked in, and I walked in with Zelda, and they took a giant can, like a 30-ounce can with no lid on it, filled it up with beer from the place, and did some weird voodoo magic, and put the top on, so it was like a regular can of beer, but just a giant 30-ounce can of beer. And I went back and had lunch, and this is like the day before my birthday, and then passed out for like an hour. I was like,
because of the 30-ounce beer.
Yeah, which is like 2.5 beers. It was a big beer, and so I took a lot of naps. And then listened to Nick Offerman's book from like 2013 about building a canoe.
This is 40.
Basically.
Yep.
I was like, now I just need to get my like bathrobe and my walker, and then I could yell about the kids and getting off my lawn. I dare you whippersnappers, get off my lawn.
Sounds about right. It's 40.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck was that movie with what is it, Gran Torino or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's
Gran
like,
Torino. Yeah.
and he's literally has like the porch
Rocking chair.
rocking chair and his gun and stuff. Like that's it. That's right there. Yeah.
I never saw that movie because it just looked like old racist Clint Eastwood yells at minorities. I was like,
It was good. Well, most Clint Eastwood movies are good, to be honest. But yeah, that one is definitely more.
it looked more like old racist man yells at minorities, and I was like, I'm okay.
No, he yells at everyone.
I'm okay. Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I thought it was about him specifically yelling at minorities.
That's probably where the internet took it.
Probably. Ugh. I'm glad you're feeling better, Josh.
Yeah, same.
And Ken, I'm glad your desk didn't break your computer and that you're back and alive.
It's just in another room in pieces. But it's fine. It's fine. I did get a new tattoo this weekend.
Ooh,
I
what
did
is
not
it?
hear about this.
I got an appa. I haven't posted any pictures of it because it's still under its like Sanoderm stuff, and I didn't take a picture right when she was finished with it. But I got an appa, and it's like right here, so it's really cute.
Okay, what kind of pun is it, Ken?
It's actually not. There is no pun affiliated with it this time. I didn't think that through. But I have
Jesus,
plenty more
Ken.
space around my ankles to get done, so maybe next week I'll get something else.
Man.
My next appointments are booked in November. My tattoo artist is
Nice.
too busy.
Fuck you both. want a new tattoo.
I found this girl in town and I was like, I want a new artist to try. And I mean, all of our shops are like walk-in based. So I was like, your stuff looks kind of cool. So I just took her something and I was like, this. And she said, okay. So I'm just going to use her a few more times and see, like, before I give her like full reign. And then maybe I'll finally have someone.
Walk-in tattoo parlors scare me.
Oh, yeah, me
Like,
too.
I know
That's all
most of them
got.
are that. Yeah.
I don't know. I've been lucky enough to know a lot of tattoo artists.
You've been lucky enough to like have like tattoo artists that are incredible that are also willing to trade your sexy body for tattoos, Josh.
Yeah, but I knew him when he was first starting out, so it was like he
know.
hadn't tattooed on anybody before, and I was like, oh, I do my graphic stuff, and he's like, what? I need graphic stuff.
By graphic stuff, Josh means Josh will fellatio him.
No, that's where it's at now. Because I've already done his website and everything,
What?
and he doesn't need like another website. It's like
It's why Josh is like why he hurt his. He didn't really have a migraine. He torqued his neck like blowing his tattoo artist.
So?
That's why he has a tattoo coming in 2 months because Josh was like.
It's funny because a lot of people got the whole influencing thing wrong. Like I used to do trade for tattoo works, but it wasn't for influencing. It was like, oh, I'll build you a computer or, oh, I'll do XYZ. But everybody else is like, I'm an influencer. So like, give me this and I'll promote you. No, fuck off. Like pay for it or barter.
Barter. I was watching What We Do in the Shadows when I was in the mountains, and the episode where they go to the like vampire market and they're just like trading everything.
my
Yeah, I
one
love
on my
that
leg.
show.
I did. That was not my tattoo artist. It was someone else looking for trade for a promotional video for their shop. So I was like, I literally have traded for all my other tattoos. So what's another
Yeah.
one? So she was like, oh,
I mean,
that's awesome.
It makes sense, right? Like I don't expect to get all of my stuff done for like I paid for my last few because I didn't have anything to offer them. Like I don't have a big enough Instagram following to be like, I'm like I said, an
Yeah.
influencer.
Yeah.
But I also didn't have anything to trade for them, so. But
That's
I really
why I
want
can-
her stuff to be great, so I can use her because she's so cool.
But that's also just like a good thing to do anyways. You find someone that you jam with and it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Then it becomes like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go grab a drink or something this weekend. And then you just become good friends anyways. And then it's like, okay, I want to help my friends out, and then they want to help me out, and it's just, that's it.
Did we just become best friends? Yup.
It happened. It happened.
Fucking amen. It happened. It happened. What do you fuckers been up to besides
Did anyone
getting
check
random
out
tattoos?
new Star Wars show?
Yes.
I saw the first episode, and then I was like, and I don't think I'm gonna watch any of it ever again.
I liked it. The first episode was a little slow. I went out to dinner on my birthday with Zach and Katie, Ezekiel _I, and we were talking about it. And I think Zach and Katie were talking about how they were like predicting the chick from Rebels, the Mandalorian chick, before she was saying things. The girl with the weird colored hair. Which reminded me of Kin the entire time with her bright purple and pink and hair. I'm like, every time I saw her, I was like, this just reminds me of Kintinue and her cool hair. So
Kitty,
Cool hair.
Kenny Poo.
That me.
Kenny Poo. One of these days where it was like, hey Ken, where did Weasel go? And you're like, she crossed the line. Finally. She enticed me to do it. There's an old Ken, I don't know if you know about this one at all. It was when I used to listen to Opie and Anthony all the time, they always played this clip of this old dude who shot his wife and then called the cops, and he's a Southern dude. Of course he was. And he goes to the 911 operator. He goes, she enticed me to do it. They've been married for 40 years or some shit. And this dude just finally had it with this woman. I'm not encouraging what he did. I'm just saying that's how his response was. She enticed me to do it. And it's just this old redneck sounding dude, just sounding he sounds like he's like, oh, I took the trash cans out and yeah, but so I always go, she enticed me to do it. But yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. She enticed me. I don't. This is why I have a beer before the show, because I'm losing my mind, and it's whatever it is. What
we just got
Josh,
Boogeyman on Plex, and as well as Meg 2, so we have some options here. And Indiana Jones. That's the only place I'm gonna fucking watch that.
Do. I mean, it's on Disney or whatever.
I know. I'm just saying, these places, and these types of movies, like Boogeyman, I was waiting as well. I wanted to watch it. I heard it was decent, but I still, it reminds me kind of a little bit of this movie-ish.
I'm really excited to talk about this movie because I really, really liked it. But we'll go in a second. I was gonna say, have you guys watched anything else then in the last week or so?
Been watching through Dragon Prince. So good. So disgustingly good. Highly recommend. They did it. They do a reference to Avatar at one point. It's really cute. And I was supposed to go see the Dracula movie, and I backed out because I was tired. I'm gonna go see something this weekend, but yeah, I mean, I've just been floating around,
We all float down here, Ken.
You'll float too.
I didn't even watch the movie last week. I couldn't watch a lot, which kind of sucks.
I was telling Josh how you wanted to harass him about it because of your weird what was it? It wasn't Murders. I don't know the movie, but the week before.
Mother.
I don't even. Yeah, Mother.
Oh yeah.
We had a good discussion about it, but yeah, it was.
Well, I couldn't listen to the episode because our show just does spoilers. So I actually want to watch the movie. So I didn't listen.
Ken and I would never spoil anything. I don't know what you're speaking of.
Yes.
I'm sure you spoiled.
Okay. I was telling you, Ken, I was watching this show called Deadlock, which is on Amazon, and it's a show set in Tasmania. So it's very like there's like weird like words they kept saying that I didn't understand. Like they kept talking about some I don't even think I would remember what the word was, but it was like a slang for poppers, like nitrous poppers. They kept like finding popper containers or something like that. But yeah, I really liked the show though.
Was this
it's
girl
about this.
from this movie in Infinity Pool?
She was the teacher.
Yes.
Yes, she was. And we all know who the dad was, but that's we'll get into that.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so hot. Okay, sorry. Him with the
I-
dark hair is like fabulous.
All I see is his, like, I bet you anything he wakes up and he's got fucking 9 o'clock shadow. It's just so dark. And, like, he probably shaves before the scene and it just.
Yes. I just want to know
Yes.
if like if this guy ever like legitimately smiles at someone, would you even understand? Because like every time I see him smile, I just see Homelander and now this dad.
Boys?
I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, Homelander's his name on Boys, but okay, yes, we're gonna dive into it then. I guess we've brought it up. We're gonna talk about Cobweb from this year.
Is that someone who doesn't have sex? Cobwebs?
I believe it's a thing that like forms in rooms that haven't been cleaned in a while or been vis- I don't know, man. I'm gonna read a synopsis though, and it says as follows: An 8-year-old boy tries to investigate the mysterious knocking sounds that are coming from inside the walls of his house, and unveiling a secret that his sinister parents have kept hidden from him. So.
What does his
I was
parents
like-
honestly think? That she's not going to talk? Like, come on.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, man, the parents of this little boy are the definition of fuck around and find out. They were like fucking around and they found out. And they found out that rat poison is tasty.
Was this Lionsgate movie?
I don't know. You know what? Okay.
I'm happy
wanna
that
say-
they're making just some like budget horror, like or some sort of budget and studio horror still, because like it's not a thing that we get very often. Even
Yeah.
if you don't like this movie, which honestly, if you haven't seen it, I don't think you're correct in your assumption that you're not going to like this movie. It is.
Yep.
It's got a budget and it's a fun
Dude.
fucking movie.
This movie was so close to being like in my mind like a 10 out of 10. It was like probably like 8.5 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 for me. But like it was so close. But like I was like thinking about it last night. I'm like, this movie feels like they had this really, really, really great idea and didn't know how to end it or didn't know how to like completely wrap things up. One. And two, it felt like, when studios come in and start going, oh man,
Just cut
this is a horror movie. You need to add more cursing and you need to add more like death and violence, because this movie was, how I thought about it for most of the way through, it felt like a Guillermo del Toro movie. It's like it felt like
felt like
Trick
Mother.
or Treat. No, it felt like it didn't feel like Mother.
No,
you
no,
fucking
no.
maniac.
Oh, Mama. That's what I meant. Mama.
What it felt like to me was like I was
Have you seen Mama?
comparing it. Yeah, I was a long time ago.
100%.
Yeah. It felt like, to me, Barbarian meets Trick or Treat is what it felt like. It's like if Barbarian was like, because it has that Trick
I
or
don't know
Treat,
about
like
Trick or Treat. Like I understand the
the
aesthetic.
tone of the film.
Yeah.
The tone of the film is Trick or Treat, and the it's on Halloween, and you're like have this real like not realistic world kind of, and you're like everything feels like a little dreamy. But then like the Barbarian thing, obviously the sister in the walls, but it just like the very end of the film, it wraps up what I felt was like a PG-13 horror movie, and I was all horror movies don't need to be rated R. They don't need to be rated R. I will say that out loud, and I'm someone who likes violence in horror movies.
Especially the ones done like Insidious, and they're all PG-13, and they're all
Yeah.
within that. And this one is almost doing that like following that
Until
same. There's a lot of tropes that this movie is like, you know what, we gotta check that box, check that, and it felt a little almost like it was steering away from them, and then was like, oh wait, it's just right there. We might as well check that box on the way by. I'm like, you didn't have to go completely there, but it was all done very, very like well. Like everything that was done and all the choices that were made in this, it was like there was that like studio polish to everything, which was kind of nice to see.
This movie just works because it has that. It's like It Chapter 1, right? Where everything is more terrifying when you're going through the eyes of a kid, right? Like when you're using a kid as the basis to tell a story like this. You have that, like, because when you're 8, like this kid is, everything in the world is scarier. You're scared of like the dark. You're scared of your parents. You're scared of like the boogeyman.
I think anyone would be scared of these fucking parents.
Man,
you're grounded. Go to the fucking basement.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Was I the only one who thought of South Park where they locked Butters in the basement because they thought he was killing everyone? And it was like they locked him in the basement because they're like, you can't kill people anymore, Butters. But they didn't want to turn him into the cops, so they locked him in the basement. That's what I felt like. I was like, it kind of makes sense afterwards, but you're like, the mom in this movie, man, she's just so like I said earlier, it's like fuck around and find out. This woman, I don't know if it was arrogance. I don't know if it was like she doesn't believe in her own kid, but had every chance in the world to explain what the fuck was going on to her like kid. And
it was annoying to the point of like how I felt in the new Ant-Man. Just like, no, it will take me too long to explain that I can't explain anything. Wait, that took too long too. I'm not saying a word. And until we as an audience need to know, like, don't let her out is like so cryptic, and it gave a reveal at least. Like, ooh, this is gonna get fucking nuts, and it did. It got fucking nuts, man.
Man, it's why though. Like, why did the movie reminded me of Trick or Treat? Like everything in this movie, like I said, like
that's
all
nuts.
The pumpkins in the backyard. All the pumpkins in the backyard, the skull in the backyard, it all reminded me of the dude from Trick or Treat.
I loved the pumpkins.
Yeah, I was going to say that whole aesthetic and like the way that looked was just so good. Like every time I went to the backyard, I was like, yes. I loved the dark. I loved the like kind of like ominous, like creepy vibe that the entire house gave off. They did such a good job with that. Side note, really quick, I know that we're like somewhere, but I just looked this up because it was bothering me. The little boy who plays the son, he is 14 years old.
What?
Yeah, and then on top of that, Gary Busey's son is... Oh, shoot, I just had his age pulled up, but now I can't find it. Anyway, he is... Nope, I lost him.
Cobweb.
I'll find it. But yeah,
13.
They are, yeah, there you go. So...
And he's supposed to, like, I don't know. Okay, this is what's weird about this. In IMDb, saying he's 8 is a odd thing because they don't ever say how old he is in the movie. They don't ever quote it. So, like, I don't think you need to say how old he is. He's just a kid, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think based on, like, where he's at in school, it definitely feels more like, oh, he's 8, maybe 10, you know, at most. But 14, like, that's high school.
Like, he felt like a 6th grader or something like that to me. And was I the only one, I say, watching this movie who at the very end when the Busey clan comes in, who was like, "O'Doyle rules."
Yeah. That's like, what I thought. That's what I thought the entire time.
I was like,
but then I was also like, what the fuck are these kids doing? Like, they're coming in with baseball bats and hatchets and shit. Like, is your goal to just come in and like murder this family? Like, are you just coming in to bash up the house? But even then, like, that seems excessive.
It was Trick or Treat. It was an other world. It was close to our world, but not completely okay. Also, if you're this little kid, Peter, and in the voice in your head, aka the voice in your walls, aka your sister, tells you to fuck with the bully, could you have picked a better place to fuck with the bully than like shoving this motherfucker down the stairs? Because, goddamn, man, it's funny because all I could think about when that happened was there's at least this running season of What We Do in the Shadows, as I think I've talked about What We Do in the Shadows more than once already now, and they're trying to teach Guillermo to fly, and he jumps off and falls, and then like his ankles just like his foot is like backwards like for half the episode, and that's all I could think of with he shoved that kid because it's the most brutal scene in this whole movie. You're just like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. His scene of pushing his mom down the stairs was pretty rough. All I could think of with that was Let the Right One In, when she like encourages him to beat the shit out of his bully and it doesn't go so well. Like that's all I could think of. And then I also I'm going to say I was very fortunate that I didn't go to a school with steps. That's just one of those weird things that anytime I see on TV, I'm like, man, it's a good thing. Because I would have either A, fallen on the steps and broke something, B, tripped on the steps and broke something, C, taken someone with me, or, something would have happened. Because I ripped every tendon in my ankle just standing on a base and falling off of it when playing softball. Like, there's no way I could have survived that long in school and not fallen down steps.
I don't know how Kane gets up to go to the bathroom without like breaking things. That's how
I just broke my fucking toe. Like, so.
That's because you were karate kicking like Chuck Norris a moose, and now your toe's broken. You don't karate kick a moose, Josh.
I'm lanky, and you're fucking lanky.
Yeah, man. Also, I saw a thing recently on Instagram about the ADHD walk, where you walk and then you just move your hips to not run into things.
Yes.
And I was like,
I do that to people. I noticed that at the mall because I have to go to the mall way too fucking often now. But I do this thing where I don't look anywhere. I just look off. And if you're not going to get out of my way, I don't give a fuck. Don't get out of my way. But I'll just do this. Like, I'm not fucking stepping out of your way because I'm here and I'm going this way. That doesn't matter. That's ADHD. Doesn't matter. Fuck off. I'm bigger than you and I have more tattoos. Just get the fuck out of my way.
And Ken just does it because she's Ken and we love her.
I do it so I don't take up space.
You also have super ADHD, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
True. It's true. So
I follow too many ADHD like Instagrams too. So like every time I flip, I'm like, oh man, like I didn't even realize that was something that ADHD people do, and I'm like, oh, it's so me. Every post.
I started. When I was off for a week, I started reading the Instagram, the TikTok ADHD people from England, their book, and which starts off with the wife who's the ADHD one in the couple who forgets she's on her period, and then like rolls up napkins to make tampons, and I'm like, and my ADHD is different, but I'm like, I
want to hear you say it. I'm waiting to hear you say it.
I just like, I've never had a bleeding vagina, so I don't understand. Like, I don't like comprehend the whole situation. Basically,
that's what I figured you were going towards.
Yeah,
it happens. Unfortunately, it happens.
Yeah, like, so
I could be like 2 days in and be doing something, and I'm like, oh. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. I forgot. Okay.
I wasn't trying to give this woman shit. I was just like, my ADHD brain does it. Like, it couldn't even start to comprehend it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand forgetting shit, but like, it was a wonderful world. And I don't know how I've gotten here, but I'm here.
I like the videos that I send you. Those people skateboarding, doing skateboard tricks on their flip flops
with a flip flop. Yeah, It was very wonderful.
That's talent, man. That is talent.
I have to say, if the teacher in this movie who Josh was asking about, Cleopatra Coleman. Okay, I have to say, do you think that, as I say, I have to say, if you name your daughter Cleopatra, you better make that woman a boss. And this woman is a boss because she was also in Infinity Pool. But like, that's a pretty boss name. It's like, yeah, I'm the
but what teacher shows that much, like?
Again, it's like I said earlier, Josh. It's like in this like Elseworld world that things are almost the same, but not quite.
It's a little too like, yeah, I don't know. It felt like a studio movie that was like very narrow scope, which you don't see very often. I think that's why this movie was done as well as it was, because it had, you know, a smaller scope to like worry about instead of like a lot of different places and sets and stuff. It was like two. Like I said, I think that they almost had a Trick or Treat level masterpiece. They just like they stumbled a little bit at the end for me. They stumbled at like the ending and like how they did the whole like the whole talking about, like I feel like they tried to get artsy at the end a little bit, and I'm like, and I honestly could have done without the violence at the end. Like they could have just like, you know, and the guts, like literal guts.
Random. That is like, I never want to, like, I don't want to get murdered, one, but two, I never want to get poisoned.
Really?
Because getting poisoned seems like a real fucking terrible. Okay, if you're gonna poison me, make sure like I die in my sleep. Just like, I don't want to puke up like the black goo from Supernatural when you become a demon, like they did in this thing. But like, if at least they took out Homelander like that, like Homelander deserves to get like, you know, taken out like that. Homelander's killed a lot of people, but Homelander is also like done some. Has Homelander done anything good? I don't think so. He even fucked a Nazi. So like, Homelanders are pretty terrible individuals, so he deserved it. It's from The Boys.
Oh, okay.
Have you not seen The Boys?
I watched a couple episodes and then didn't.
Oh.
But Josh,
because Dan Trachtenberg did the pilot, so that was me like checking in on my boy Dan and going, "Holy shit, fucking good job, man!"
Yeah, it's good.
It's real good. It is. The mother who, like, I think has been in a lot of things. Like, you go look at her, like, IMDb. She's been in things like...
I love her.
Yeah.
She was in Mean Girls. She was Janice in Mean Girls. Okay.
She's in Cloverfield.
Oh, yes, yeah, Cloverfield. So good.
Now You See Me Too. She was in Party Down. I love her in Party Down, by the way. She's great.
I've never seen
She's the
Party
voice
Down.
of Ripley in Inside Job, which is so good. She was in Castle Rock. She was in this, I think it was just the second season of Castle Rock. She
had my girlfriend's name in The Night Before.
Sorry. I like her a lot, and she's been around for a long time, and I always get really excited when she's in stuff. But if you haven't watched Inside Job, definitely recommend it. I may actually rewatch it at some point.
I haven't watched the second half of the show because they canceled it before I did, and I'm like, I got bummed out and never watched it.
Which one?
Speaking of Inside Job, the cartoon on Netflix about they basically are the people that make conspiracy theories. This is Trick. Speaking of Trick or Treat.
Hi, Trix.
Oh, hi, Trick. He's such a goofball. He's very, very needy. Both the poodles are very needy. So
needy animals? What? How can you possibly have such a thing?
I don't know. Maybe we should sell him on the black market.
Stripes would fetch a pretty penny with how big he is.
Man, I'm telling you, you could make a lot of Chinese food with Stripes. Dude, it's one of those things, man. You hear stories about fucking Chinese food restaurants that like burn down or something, and then they find like cat skeletons in their fucking like thing, and it's just like cats must taste pretty decent, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to eat a kitty.
Yeah, they got to be more expensive than a fucking chicken. Come on.
No, because you could find a fucking cat like walking the streets, man. Like you don't have chickens wandering the streets unless you're in Hawaii. There are fucking like
They're feral and they will attack you. There are towns overrun by these feral chickens right now in Hawaii.
yeah,
And
that's
they
why you
can't
just
do anything about it. I don't understand. I never could figure out why they can't do anything about it. Like, can they not just kill the chickens?
I bet PETA would not appreciate that.
Well, then PETA can go deal with all the consequences of all these chickens shitting all over everything and getting people sick and destroying all their property.
Do you think PETA cares? PETA doesn't want you to do anything to any animals.
I think I'm after groups this week. So I guess I'm after PETA today. I went directly to a spine-tingling website yesterday with no VPN or anything multiple times and flipped through a lot of their social media. So if I disappear,
Uh-oh.
Tom Cruise, you leave our Kinney alone. You leave our Kinney alone, Tom Cruise.
apparently he's leaving again for the fourth time.
Ooh.
Man,
Tom
they
Cruise
must.
leaving
He
the
must know.
Scientology.
He must know something about that missing wife of the leader of Scientology. And
God,
so
I would
they,
hope
like,
so. Fuck.
They
Dude
keep
is-
coming.
Oh, sorry. I've just listened to like a 4-part series on David Miscavige, so my brain is like driven into Scientology
ADHD.
right now. Like, oh my God.
That's called hyper focused.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I'm
You'll
probably
have
gonna
your-
re-listen to all of it.
Yeah, you'll have your like big mega meal of it, and then you'll get so sick of it, and you'll never want to hear about it ever again. This is what I do with songs all the time.
Yeah.
Dude,
me too.
that's been my it's been albums. I've been obsessed with Beartooth's album from what Disgusting from 2013, whatever. I've been listening to that album over and over and over and over, and
I'm
I
on,
don't
like,
listen to songs.
I'm on an
Repeatedly, it's-
easy core fucking just. I'm just deep diving all easy core bands right now. It's amazing.
I don't even know what easycore is.
It's like pop punk with breakdowns.
Ooh.
I like the
I
sounds
need
of that.
some names of these.
It's the
Is
it's
that
the-
like is it a data remember easycore? Because that sounds
Oh,
like
yeah,
a data remember.
a data remember
Okay.
would be part of that for sure. Yeah,
Dude, Miracle, that song is fucking.
yeah, because
banger.
they have. There's like some parts that have screaming and breakdowns, but the rest is like the classic bro fucking pop punk like easy listening stuff. I love it.
Are you a Beartooth fan, there, Mr. Josh?
I don't know names of bands, man. I don't know names of shit. I just listen.
Okay, I would think you would. They sound like a hardcore band kind of, but like I don't know, but punky. It's weird. I like them a lot.
I like them too. I haven't heard a ton of their stuff, but I like them
What's
too. I
that
saw
band?
them at a Data Remember. They
There's this-
opened for them.
Yeah,
There's this band that has what the fuck is their name? It's from Goonies. Chunk, no Captain. It's called Chunk, no Captain Chunk. That's their name.
nice, dude. I just bought ticket to see Polaris, and I'm very
Oh, nice.
excited. And but I'm like, their guitarist just died while they were making this record or
Oh, what?
finishing this record up. So like, yeah, dude, the dude was only 26. I'm very bummed. Yeah, and I'm going to see Rez this Friday, so I'm very excited. Rez. So
We'll see some.
I have to
fucking
ask,
music.
why did this kid's parents keep their basement? Was it because of the sister? Like the basement was hidden behind the refrigerator?
Yeah,
Everything
all
was
those
hidden
doors
behind
were
something.
hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm very confused also. Why was the door behind the clock so
small.
tiny?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It was
I mean,
literally
that's
like
probably how it was built into the house, because that's how the doors upstairs on the top floor of this house, they're like that. They're very small, and then you can climb in behind them to get into the walls of that particular area, and that's
Yeah.
like we use that for storage and stuff.
But like, how
They're very
long?
creepy, especially the one that like pops open on its own all the time. So we had to put something in front of it to prevent it from popping. It
But
all
like,
comes together. But yeah.
I gotta ask, like, how long has she been back there? And like, the parents seeing like, what is that? Like they would. It's a fucking hole in between the walls because you have someone back there and they've been there for fucking ever. Come on.
Well,
Are you kidding?
That's what I was about to say. Like, if you've been there, like, if she's been back there that long, how did she not dig her way out?
Exactly.
Like, what was?
Well,
Yeah.
Especially with how much power and like levitation and spider powers and like she could have just like broken through the ceiling and like terrorized.
They had that fucking pit that she was in, like that she put her brother in at the very end was at least 15 feet deep, like cement filled.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, well, okay. Did they say that the little girl disappeared before the boy was born, or was it like 5 years ago? I think it was like 5 years ago, but I'm not quite sure. But anyways, either way, like that the little girl, the sister was old enough to like talk to her at that point. So this girl was
the
like,
poster shows her like holding him, so that means that she is been out and hasn't tried to break out of the house then, and she's just been like,
Josh, that doesn't mean anything. It's a poster.
Yeah, but they showed her coming and fucking with him a whole bunch of times in the third act. Like,
most of that is the ending though. Like where they're like, that's the like,
right.
Is it dream world or is it real? Like, that's what I don't like about the ending. Is it's that wishy-washy. They didn't want to explain
they didn't
anything
need to do that, and they did it on purpose. Yeah.
Well, I would have been way better off with that ending if they had like, because that ending happens and then they go, was it a dream, or whatever that fucking song was that they play in the credits. that combo. I'm like, really? If they would have showed the teacher with the kid, like she had adopted him,
and they're in a
like
pickup
a
truck
situation.
Yeah, I would have been
like
way better off
away.
because they not even driving away, because they show the kid in the room. And you have the sister like kind of doing a dialogue over that, like, oh, I'm going to come get you and you'll never be able to close your eyes at night. If you would have known for sure that the kid was like, you know, living with that teacher, and even though like, I don't know how that teacher could have adopted that little fucker, because she like the sister like tattled on the kid that he murdered his parents. But it's like, you're like, it's that whole ending where you're just like, why don't you just have the balls to actually end the movie with something? And it's like, because what they do with this isn't like that, and that's really what I meant. Like, it feels like the third act wasn't defined enough. The third act is where it stumbles a little bit for me, where it like
it turns into a completely different movie. As soon as the parents are offed and he opens that door, it literally just opens Pandora's box to this ridiculously different vibe to the whole movie.
Yeah.
There is no vibe anymore. It's just it's almost
carnage.
Like it turns it into another, I don't know, like it as much as it had its own original feeling and ideas, it all stems from things that we've seen before. So I feel like that is where they're like, oh, we need to go and borrow from this movie now. And
you know what it kind of reminds me of as you talk about it is, what was it? Sunshine? Where they're doing the whole like, oh, we're going to go restart the sun. And then in the third act, it turns into a generic slasher movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where it's like they took the little girl from Ring, and they were like, oh, we're going to make her. It was like
really reminded me of Mama. Like seriously, like a lot like Mama.
It was like it looked like the Ringu girl had sex with the Cheshire cat, and then it started fucking murdering everyone. Because those masks reminded me of something that the Doyle clan came in with. They remind me of, like, I don't know what it reminded me of. It reminded me of something.
They reminded me of the Umbrella Academy, the masks that
yes!
they wear.
Yeah, like in the first season where they're doing the time assassins or whatever the fuck they are. Man, I'm excited that the show is like, I really enjoyed it. But it's been kind of a mess last couple.
The last season I was not a huge fan of.
Yeah. It's very like it's when you try to, I don't know, it's you take a TV show and that's based on a comic and you kind of start diverging shit, and it's just like Netflix is very notorious for that. That's why Henry Cavill left like The Witcher, because he was like, you fuckers are just doing whatever the fuck they want. And it sounds like they're turning the whole show into the Cersei show instead of like the Witcher show. So chaos. Chaos. That's what, like, just what I was saying before, like this movie, like as soon as you're talking about as soon as the parents get taken out, it felt like a Guillermo del Toro horror movie. Like it's a fairy tale thing, like very fairy tale-y. That's like, it's like that the weird fairy tale trick or treat vibe.
It was
where
doing
it
the
feels,
onion thing where it was peeling it back, and you're learning a little bit more why they're acting this way, and learning a little bit more about the house. And it was the slow onion, and then it was like, all right, onion's cut in half. Smell it. Smell the onion. Smell.
I want to know how she got the head in the pumpkin, but maybe that's just...
Well, it turned into a slasher film after that, so it's tropey.
I still like the ending, don't get me wrong, but it was like this movie was so close to being like a classic to me. Like I'll watch this again. That's how much I enjoyed it, but like it was just like it just stumbled.
I don't know. As much as I think, because there was so many things aesthetically, and there's something to be said about horror having the right vibe, and this one really did. I haven't felt that, like it clicked in that nostalgia feel, and that's what Trick or Treat did 100% of the time throughout, and that's why Trick or Treat has gone down as one of those. It's one of the bigger cult classics for Halloween movies, and for me, it's like top of my list. I've watched it more than any other Halloween movie, and no movie just understands a vibe. And this one really had like hints of it here and there, and I think if it continued down that road and found a way to have those nostalgia vibey feels in the third act, it would have been able to do that. But I don't know.
I feel like if they would have just kept it being like PG-13 and like it wasn't an R-rated film until the third act. It really wasn't. Like you didn't have swearing, you didn't have violence, you didn't have anything. You had like, I mean, the kid shoved another kid down. Like you could have gotten this movie a PG-13, and I think you could have kept it without the.
That was like the scene from what? Oh, remember we watched that movie Zed, and the kid just like in the background. Ah!
No, we didn't watch that. We talked about it. We talked about Zed.
No,
we never actually watched it. No.
What? No, we watched it for the show.
No. I don't think we did.
100%, dude.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know where the fuck I am. Maybe we did. I know we've talked about it on the show. I don't know if we ever actually watched it though. Because didn't that director do something, one of the Black Fawn films or something like that?
No, he's from Calgary.
Okay, I don't know.
He went to my fucking high school too.
Ken, what was your favorite part of this movie, though?
Definitely just the outside of the house. I personally really liked the scene where the guy that plays Homelander vomited up the poison. I thought it was great. I talked a lot when I was talking to people about this of the mother, played by Lizzie. I talked a lot about how I felt she did such a great job fully embodying that character, because at first it almost felt cringy. You were like, okay, like you're overselling it, whatever. But the further it went, the more unhinged she felt. And I feel like she did such a great job, which she does a really great job in a lot of other films doing that same type of character. Her character on Castle Rock, is that what it is? The one on Hulu?
Yeah, that's Castle Rock.
Yeah. She did such a great job at that. She's very good. She's just great in general. I love her. I think she's fabulous. But I think like their performances, because they're so unhinged and twisted and kind of like they feel like they should be cringy, but they're not. And then the outside of the house was just in the house itself. I think that if you treated the house and the outside of the house as a character, I think that they did a really great job of keeping it minimalistic but yet super creepy.
Yeah. The wallpaper like just peeling away. I hate Wallpaper 1. Let's just start off with
I
that.
loved that
fucking
wallpaper
sucks.
was dope.
I mean, for a kid's room, it's cool, but like, it's just like, I hate Wallpaper because it's just like it feels like there's no wallpaper that like you like now in 50 years is going to look good. It's going to be like completely silent. Like it's going to clash. It's going to do whatever. The house is like, it's so dark, right? Like, dude, and there's things in this movie that I'm just like, they did so well, and then they never even answer it. Like when the teacher shows up, like that second time, and Homelander's sitting there, and he's just got that giant fucking scratch up his arm, and they don't ever explain it. They're just like, yeah, this motherfucker's crazy as shit, and he's just like got random cuts on himself, and
Sit here with my hammer.
you know, dude, he chased her to her fucking car with the fucking hammer. He's like, you forgot your keys. He's so like, I know why. Like at first I'm watching this film, I'm like, oh, it's cool that they gave this guy like this like role, like where he could be like, you know, this loving, caring father. And then you're like, oh no, he's a fucking psychopath. And they gave him the role because he's Homelander. And they're like, oh, this motherfucker could lose his shit. And everyone's like, oh yeah, this motherfucker's cray-cray. It's kind of like the opposite of what we did with Barbarian and hiring Pennywise, because they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna hire you to like fuck with people. But like, no, they're like, no, Homelander is like, it was like they hired him to fuck with, like, to get people to like, you can't trust him. You can't trust this motherfucker. He like laser eye fucks Nazis and shit like that. Like, what the fuck is going on? Dude, that dream sequence, I think it was season 2, Ken, where he's just like imagining lasering the entire fucking crowd of people in half. When it happened, and I'm like, and then it was just a dream sequence. I was like, oh, this motherfucker is sadistic. He's a nutball. A nutball. A nutball.
This movie kind of came out of nowhere for me, though. Like I
It did
heard,
for me too.
like I remember seeing the one trailer where she was like looking creepy and with her hands like this, and I was like, oh yes, this looks vibey, creepy, good.
Yeah.
And I was like excited, but I was getting it mixed up with Boogeyman as well. So
Yeah.
they're like the same kind of time, almost vibe-ish and studio type horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
Still, to me, the best horror movie of the year is still Talk to Me.
Yeah. We'll talk about it at the end of the year, what we think. That sequence, that was a dream sequence, and it reminded me of the Babadook. She was doing the Babadook
Total
hands
Babadook shit.
and had the gray hands.
Yeah.
A more reference to What We Do in the Shadows, where they have the orgy and the Babadook is just there, and the one character's like, are you a Babadook? Yeah. I can't recommend What We Do in the Shadows enough. That movie and that show. I need to rewatch the movie, but like,
I've seen the movie. I haven't seen the show.
dude, it's so good. And then Guillermo. Okay, so the main character is named Guillermo. They all call him Gizmo. So now I call Gizmo Guillermo. So Gizmo is now Guillermo because of that show. And he was in Blue Beetle, which, by the way, I went and saw, and I thought it was fucking fantastic. And it was such a fucking shame that the movie flopped.
Which one?
Blue Beetle, the DC superhero
looks like
movie.
Shit, though, man. Like no one
It
has.
looked great.
No one has
It
any.
looked great.
Yeah, but
It was great.
It doesn't matter, man. There's superhero fatigue, but there's also flop after flop after flop. So no one has any trust in superhero movies, regardless. So they're gonna wait to hear if it's like really, really good enough to go and see. And this is where we're at. These studios are spending way too much fucking money to make movies that aren't guaranteed to have an audience anymore, and there's going to be a lot less, hopefully, very soon.
Well, that one they only spent like $100 million on, because it was originally supposed to go to HBO Max, and it
looks
looked,
like
they did it doesn't. The CG in that movie was better than The Flash, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but The Flash
No,
just pulled a whole bunch of budget. They're like, like probably the Beatles' full budget got pulled from The Flash.
Yeah.
So
That movie was really. I like both those movies. I also
Flash
think
was
people
good.
didn't give up. I don't think people gave a fuck because of the they were like, oh, they're just rebooting the DC EU and just like they should just get. I just want a whole I want
Do
a
we
whole
need a
boys
fucking
cinematic
universe? Just make one-off good movies like Batman.
Dude. I mean, they have the boys spinoff coming out. Ken, have you seen the trailer for that with the?
No.
It's called like the VU or like the like whatever. It's all about the college that they have, and so it's a bunch of college superheroes just
Wait,
like
when
fucking.
Does that come out?
I think later this year.
I'm excited
Yeah,
for the Scott Pilgrim show.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's going to be Netflix.
Yeah, which means they'll cancel it prematurely. So,
But it's Edgar Wright, and everyone's coming back too, right? So to
they'll
voice
still
their
cancel
own.
it prematurely
Who
because
cares?
it's Netflix.
It's still going to
There's,
be fun.
Yeah.
Fall of the House of Usher is coming. That Ed Gein special is coming out in the middle, like towards the end of September.
Dude, I'm very tired of Ed Gein because everything is inspired by Ed Gein. It's like inspired by truth. It's
I
like,
fucking watched that shit when I was like in grade 7. Like
Yeah, they have a new thing coming out. I'm watching through Waco as well again. There's a new Waco documentary out. Sorry. Anyway, those are super side notes.
I mean, can you go off on wild tangents on true crime stuff? That's why I thought you would like that whatever the fuck I called it, Deadlock show.
That was my
Yeah.
girlfriend at the time, like in high school and whatever, like, and just outside of high school. She was obsessed. So that's all we watched was like all the
A lot
stuff
of women love true crime stuff.
I
man.
know.
A lot of women love true
like
crime.
very, very like
Yeah.
obsessive about it. It's weird.
I don't get obsessive about it, but Nine and I talk a lot about stuff within that category. Like we sit and we talk about everything Last Podcast on the Left does
Yeah.
all day long.
Silly
Sorry.
Nine. I want to know. One thing I didn't look at with all this was the director, Samuel Bowden. He has. What else has he directed?
What he does either.
Dude, fucking, I don't know what IMDb is doing, but
It's
like,
all kinds of fucked up lately.
he started his first thing was a Gojira video, which I think is fucking awesome. But like, this is his first movie. He did, or I guess, yeah, he did a Gojira music video. He did a short called Foals de Adam, Batman Ashes to Ashes, another short called Nuya, some TV show called Lazy Company, another TV show called Tank, and then another TV show called Marine. So this is his first movie, which is fucking nuts. He did a really good job, man. I have more issues with the writing in this movie and like not knowing how to finish. But like,
That's what she said.
also, when the mom makes the cupcakes and brings them down to the boy in the basement, why the fuck are some of, I mean, like, those are one of the first indicators. Oh, and I have to talk about the thing I messaged you motherfuckers. I can't believe you motherfuckers didn't notice this. That, like, the pretty early in the movie, they're eating meatloaf for dinner and drinking orange juice with their meatloaf. What? We knew at that point they were psychopaths. You don't drink orange juice with meatloaf. You knew they were lunatics. That was the earliest indicator. There's never been an earlier indicator in a movie that someone's a fucking crazy person.
I thought it was the name of your OnlyFans.
No, you don't drink orange juice with meatloaf and like fucking dinner.
It could be the
Orange
name of
juice.
our band, you know, Meatloaf and Orange Juice.
It just sounds like a Meatloaf tribute band, Josh.
It could be. You never know.
I mean, I would do anything for love, but I won't drink orange juice with meatloaf. Oh, no, I won't do that. I would do
Okay, I take it back. We're not going to have a
for
band.
love.
Sorry.
I mean, you know that song's about anal? Like, he's like, I won't, he doesn't want to get pegged. Meatloaf singing about not getting pegged because he's got a closed mind. Meatloaf, you have to get pegged for love because getting pegged is wonderful. So just remember that, Meatloaf. Do pegging for love. I would do anything for love, including
that
getting
seriously?
pegged. No, I'm just making shit up, Josh.
Okay, I believe you.
That was the scene that I'm like, these people are crazy. They're crazy. They're drinking meatloaf and eating orange juice. I know I said that backwards.
But that
it's
was
okay.
like, the whole cupcake scene. It's weird. It's just as weird as every other decision that these characters are making.
Yeah.
Right. So, just like the weird small things like meatloaf and orange juice, but that whole kitchen and the fact that it's just the same thing, and it's like something's not right here, and the camera comes in and does that spinny thing, and then comes in, and it's. But all those decisions were made by the director, who was really intentionally trying to make that vibe. And
it reminded me of the principal's house from Trick or Treat. This.
But it also
this
reminded
whole-
me of the kitchen from the Babadook as well.
Yeah. Babadook, 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 Duke. We have to do that movie at some point because it's very foreign. It's very Australian. No, we've never done that. I haven't watched Babadook in a long time.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
been
a
long time
poster.
since I watched it.
The kid
I haven't done
in
a poster
this.
in a while. I helped. What's her name? I want my Lauren. She's like an influencer. She's doing another. She's doing a Indiegogo campaign, and I did the poster for the movie. That was the last.
It's
poster I
funny.
did.
I've been watching a lot of videos on What Culture's YouTube page about like underrated horror movies, and I'm always like, it's always films we've done on this podcast. It's always like especially from like recent years.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they like I saw the one the other day. It was like Deadstream and shit like that, and a bunch of other films we like Influencer and all that shit. And I'm just like, yes, we're nailing it. We're nailing it.
There's only so much we can watch, right? Like we want to cover as many of the bases, and like I love how you guys like try to give me shit about like us as a show covering Skinamarink, but it's like, come on, like if we didn't, we wouldn't be
Wait.
doing our job, right? Like
I don't think I gave you shit about covering Skinamarink. I think I gave Skinamarink shit for being Skinamarink.
no, because I was giving you shit for choosing Mother,
I
and
know.
you guys
I'm
tried to dunk. You can't dunk
We
a
tried.
dunker.
We failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we'll dunk on you later, Josh, after you watch Mother May I. No, I'm just kidding. That movie, though, that just gives me the creepy Oedipus vibes. So,
Which isn't a bad thing. Like watching that trailer and like getting asked by my buddy, my tattoo artist loves horror movies, and he doesn't like cliche shit. He doesn't, he likes old horror as well. And if he asks for like a suggestion, you gotta like deep cut fucking go into the filing cabinet to find something to suggest to him.
Dude,
and I was like, you know what? I want to
just-
check this movie out. And he's like, oh shit, that actually looks pretty gnarly. And just from the trailer alone and the premise, it looks like a standalone rather than, we're talking about Cobweb and Boogeyman in the same sentence because, the vibes look similar. They're coming out at the same time, blah, blah, blah. So like to have a movie like Mother May I felt like, it would be interesting to talk about something a little different.
Ken and I had a good time talking about it. I liked the movie. It was interesting. It's also fucking
Weird.
just gives me it's kind of more of a weird psychological thriller with horror elements. But
Nice.
but
that lead
with
actor,
all this-
he just came out with another horror movie.
Kyle. Yeah, I mean
the
he's done a
Passenger.
lot of horror. He's done. I mean, he was in Smile. He was in Scream 5. He's been in a lot lately.
But
so.
those movies just came out in the same week, though, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So,
With all the talk about Boogeyman, Josh, are we doing Boogeyman next week?
I would love to be honest. Like, I would
do-
honestly love to. Yeah.
Let's do Boogeyman next week. Is there anything else?
To me.
Ken, you go first. Anything else you want to say about this before we wrap up?
I think you should definitely see it. Don't go into it expecting to be absolutely terrified. But definitely check it out. I had a lot of fun with it. We all had a lot of fun with it. I watched it with the community, which is something we've started doing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I think, dude, like I said, it almost felt like it's one of those movies where it's like it was so close to being almost a classic, but I still really, really enjoy it. Like I always bring up Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man is one of those movies that if it hadn't ended the way it had, I would be watching that movie on a yearly basis. That movie,
It's so dark the way it ends.
yeah, it's like
But
it's
what
such a
made me
feel.
love
It's
it.
like, dude, that movie is. It feels like it's such a like a positive like. Oh, we're telling you about how just be yourself and like do what you love and do all these things, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna tell you this positive message through like about, like well we're doing this and we're gonna do all this stuff, and then we're gonna kick you in the balls with our ending. We're gonna kick you in the balls harder than you've
With
ever
a
been kicked in
metal
the balls.
fucking lead. Yeah, no, a lead
Yeah,
pipe.
and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Hold on.
oh, I really still love this movie. Put that ending.
I
Oh.
tasted the lead somehow.
Okay, Josh, what else do you want to say about this?
As much as the tropes are kind of cliched in this,
Yeah.
I weirdly was like, I don't know. I left this movie satisfied.
Yeah.
Regardless of its downfalls, this movie fucking checks the boxes and does a fucking good job while doing it. So
This movie gave me creepy vibes more than most horror movies do. Like it doesn't happen on a weekly basis for us, even with the high quality horror we watch. I don't
Talk
get
to Me
creeped out.
gave me the creep vibes.
At points it did. That when he was smashing his head against the fucking bathroom tile was very like that. But this movie was very like it creeped me out, and it was like Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors in the whole world, and saying it has that Guillermo del Toro like fairy tale vibe is a huge compliment for me, and I really like I just go, man, with how good of this being his first full-length feature, I'm really excited to see what this Samuel Bowden does. I think this movie
How do you get
is
hooked up like that? Like, how do you get hooked
Yeah.
up with like studio budget horror right out of the gate? Like, that's kind of
probably.
nutty.
Yeah, I mean, he must have had a fucking pitch, man, because he also got a fucking hell of a cast. I mean, just with the two, main actors and then the kid. It's just like that kid killed it.
Yes.
Also,
Gary
Yes.
Busey's son coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, Gary's Busey's son. Otoyo rules.
I'm
No, I
excited for
really-
Boogeyman. I feel like it's almost like, that thing that Hollywood does where like a script goes by someone's desk and they're like, you know what, we didn't sign off on that and we should have. And then you get Dante's Peak and Volcano
Yeah.
in the same fucking year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that type of thing. I feel like these two movies, they're making a Boogeyman. Let's make our own Boogeyman, right? Like,
Yep. Even this year, right? We had a Renfield, and then we have the voyage of whatever you call it. Like they're like it's always happening in Hollywood, and I think there are going to be more horror movies because the only things that have been really consistently making money since
We knew
we
this.
got. Yeah, but since we got out of COVID, it's been real confirmed,
it's
right?
the
So-
only thing, because and it sucks because there's so many awesome like comedic actors or dramatic actors that got their start with that like mid-budget thing that they don't fund anymore, that 20 to 40
Yeah.
million dollar movie that Nicolas Cage used to live in that fucking world too, and like
Yeah.
it doesn't exist anymore, and horror is really taken over that void.
Yeah, now it's only like 150 $200 million Marvel movies and like the superhero movies,
Or a
and it's like
$9
you don't
million
get.
horror.
Yeah, we don't have like think about it, or like $100 million animated movies. Like that's the only thing that seems to be getting made. We don't really get like the only other like the most movies that feel like they come out are PG-13 action movies, like things that like we have another Expendables movie coming out, which I'm with Megan Fox is coming in it, but
What?
we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So, yeah, have you seen the trailer? It's like Megan Fox boning Jason Statham, and her
No.
toe thumbs.
I do have toe thumb.
Good God.
Um,
Sorry.
We do have Meg
Yeah.
too still.
I would rather talk about that with KPP. If
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's
do
what I'm
that.
saying. Let's fucking get her on the horn.
I still want to find. I still want to find oversexed rug suckers from Mars. If anybody has a digital version of that we could check out, please let me know.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay,
It
so
might
next
be on
week,
YouTube, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't. I could not find.
next week is Boogeyman. So we're doing Boogeyman. Bogeyman, as Josh called him. My boss has been training a service dog, and his service dog's name is
The
Bogey.
director did host, by the way, so it should be fucking good.
I've seen it. I saw Boogeyman when it was in theaters.
Oh, nice. Yeah, but you remember Host, the Shudder movie with the...
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, Josh, you missed that episode. That was you. You weren't on that one, were you?
Host, yeah.
Was that? Oh, you were. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was part of the
Fucking
Josh's.
loved that movie. So good.
Yeah, it's got Barbara Crampton in it, man. Of course, I love Barbara Crampton. So next week, Boogeyman. And okay, go to murderous.com.
Boogie. Oh, the boogie.
Murderous Pod on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck. I hate it. I hate so bad what Elon Musk has done to that website.
I don't even go on it anymore, man.
I don't
just
either.
don't.
I post. I'm going live on Twitch videos, and that's about all.
I like go on and see that I'm tagged and retweet this.
Yep.
It's like it's going to no one. Sorry.
So go to joshwrb.com and follow Josh because he's awesome. And go to Kintinue.com and follow Twitch. Follow Twitch on Kintinue, or follow Kintinue on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kintinue. So do that thing. It's magical. And yeah, follow me in Rod_Johnston on Twitch and whatever. So I'm there. So we love you, motherfuckers. It's good to have Josh back.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next week for Boogeyman. And
Boogeyman.
the Boogeyman.
the Pokemon.
The Boogeyman. I love you, motherfuckers. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
It's in the game.
Get off my lawn.